Hello, everyone. I felt compelled to make this video, even though I know we literally have 30 minutes on this app. Um, but what I wanted to talk about is what I think a lot of people have been summarizing in their own ways, but I will just put under the umbrella as the death of the information age. So I think this has been going on for some time. It really was 2016, 2015. I would even say maybe 2010 if you were more involved in political discussions and along the lines of things that people were talking about. Obama, the birtherism debate, which was really sparked in part by the incoming president. So we've seen this slow death knell, and I think that we're finally on the last legs. So the ban of TikTok is interesting to me, especially as it's being posed as a national security risk. To an extent, I understand what they are saying. However, there are plenty of Chinese apps that Americans use that import their contacts list, that make use of their social media. People all over this app talk about doing hauls from Temu, Wish, DHgate, all of these websites that compete with Amazon in terms of collecting data, reaching out to you, looking at your contacts list. So it's very interesting to me that the US Congress would classify TikTok as a national security risk, but they don't see any issue with, let's say, foreign citizens from China. And don't take this the wrong way. This is not anything against China or the Chinese people buying up real estate in high cost of living areas, helping to facilitate housing crises in those areas. New York is a pretty good example. So there's other ways in which that this globalization, let's say, of American real estate, American social media, could be a national security risk, but they're particularly concerned about TikTok. The concern about TikTok, in my opinion, is that TikTok cannot be weaponized in the same way that Facebook, Meta by extension, and X especially can be to push certain narratives. It has been shown and concluded that there was Russian interference played some role in the 2016 election. That's not to say that Trump wouldn't have won without Russian bots or anything of that nature, but that is to say that there are ways that foreign agents can infiltrate even US owned social media to cause political unrest or dissatisfaction. However, going back to my point about the death of the information age, growing up as a millennial in the 90s, there was this promise of the internet. I especially grew up with the internet and having it be a forum and escape from real life and where people can express their creativity and even where social and political dissidents could get their points across. However, there was still this veneer of credibility and actually having sources to supply what it is you're saying. I think really with the start of birtherism in 2010, as I think I said before, which was really put into motion in part by the incoming president, that's where you really started to see the disinformation age come to be. Social media at the time was, a way for the everyday man to make their point of view known. However, it has been weaponized to spread disinformation. Like I said, you saw this in 2016. Everyone knows this. And even in 2020, with the COVID vaccinations and the rollout of all of that stuff. So now we're entering a point where this internet that was meant to facilitate learning, expanding the human experience, and letting us actually live a life that allows us to connect to other people and know as much information as we'd like to know, has been actually used to facilitate silos, people's ignorance, and really the stifling of free thought, in my opinion. You're starting to see this, especially with X, the H1B thing that blew up. I don't have a very strong opinion one way or another about the debate. I will say that the people that are against it, they do have some legitimate points. But what is especially telling to me is that Elon Musk, who purported himself to be an arbiter and a champion for free speech, and the reason why he bought X, was then demonetizing, removing subscriptions, removing check marks from people who were even, a week prior, his own self-admitted allies, because they said they didn't like what he was saying. Because he didn't like what they were purporting about being against H1B. You're seeing this with Meta. Now they are trying to roll back their community guidelines to be more in line with X. And Zuckerberg is more than glad that this TikTok ban is happening, because there's been a mass exodus from Meta apps because they suck. They steal your data. You follow people and they deprioritize those people in the algorithm. They facilitate this infighting within the American people. It's a lot of troll and rage bait. And now what I'm seeing is people now have lost the ability to critically think. They don't vet their sources. Now on the internet, I've done my research essentially means I have found videos from tertiary and secondary sources that support my point of view, whereas doing research actually means that you investigate both sides of a viewpoint and you come up with reasons why you think or why you support your own viewpoint. So it's very interesting to me, and it's actually really sad to see that this avenue that a lot of people in the 2000s, the 90s, and the 2010s even thought would be an avenue for heightening human development, human understanding of the world around us, has now been used and weaponized in a way to make us scared, fearful, and really closed off from the world. So what I want to tell people is, yes, there is things to fear in that regard. However, you need to stay woke. And I mean stay woke in the original meaning of the word, the African-American Black meaning of the word, which is to keep your eyes open, actually do your research, and don't let anyone scare you into a point of view that you have researched and know is either factual or false. This really is the time to grow up and keep your eyes peeled, just because this incoming administration has shown that they're not above, getting retribution for people speaking against the president. An example of this is I listened to the entire Secretary of Defense committee nomination hearing, the entire 4 hours. I listened to it while I was at work on my headphones. I watched the entire thing. It was not a good hearing. Pete Hegseth is clearly unqualified. However, later that day, I looked online and the Associated Press and CNN were low-key praising Hegseth's behavior in the nomination, and specifically saying that the way he handled the questioning is a blueprint for how Trump nominees should handle, committee confirmations going forward. And I was like, this is insane. Did they watch the same hearing that I watched? A lot of it, yes, is bullshit and political theater, but overall, the impression I think any impartial person would get was that, yeah, he's not as qualified as previous incoming secretaries of defense. So you're already starting to see people basically bend and kiss the ring. I think Mark Zuckerberg is a great example in these last 2 weeks. Elon Musk has been, Elon Musk. I've clocked his tea since about 2016, 2017. I'm glad people are finally coming around to it. But you just have to be careful of what it is you watch. And more than ever, you have to have a keen eye and come to your own conclusions, which means that you need to watch these nominations, these committee meetings, these Senate hearings with your own ears and watch with your own eyes and come to your own conclusions. Do not let these mainstream media conglomerates give you a little slice of what they want you to know and make your decision off of that. I don't care if you're a liberal. I don't care if you're a leftist. I don't care if you're MAGA. I don't care if you're a right-wing, Republican, libertarian, independent. I don't care what you affiliate with. This is really a human development and your own mental security and your own mental knowledge at stake. Don't let yourself be bamboozled by what's going on. You need to tap into your primary sources and you need to think for yourself. Don't let these people feed you misinformation, because it's coming. A lot of these media conglomerates are scared of Trump clapping back on them with his panel of minions, and they are bending the knee, and he hasn't even assumed office and we're already seeing it. So goodbye. I have a YouTube channel. You can just search basically my name and you'll see it. Wish you all well. Hope the app doesn't get banned, but in the event that it does, keep your head up high and know who you are.